Is this person one of the most influential people in America? I knew if I went and I gave interviews on the red carpet, Mark.
Really? The Titan Blake Lively is now trying to convince us that she is a victim because her mother was. Now Blake Lively. What? They talk about how stunning they look, nothing else. I don't know what happened to TMZ. Maybe they're scared of being dragged into this lawsuit.
There's a lot of controversy right now with Blake being on the Time 100 list.
It's a ridiculous joke. She shouldn't be there. She has no influence over anyone. I think she launched the fake Me Too allegation against him, and
She's gonna claim in court that she had all these damages and trauma, but she's totally fine going on red carpets.
It really clicked, and it clicked in every part of my life.
Is this person one of the most overrated figures in Hollywood? I knew that if I tuned into the latest red carpet event, I would witness yet another embarrassing spectacle. What does insert celebrity think they are doing now? Seriously, this entire stunt is just so predictable.
What? They talk about how stunning they look, nothing else. I don't know what happened to TMZ. Maybe they're scared of being dragged into this lawsuit, and now they're just changing lanes here. So Blake Lively had this speech. Someone recorded it and put it online. Bottom line here is she used her mom to get sympathy. And posing with her everywhere on the red carpet and sitting next to her, talking about her and her supportive husband. It's just like, we're not buying it.
You would think after all the scandals and failed attempts at damage control, they would have learned. But no, they're out there pretending to be a champion of some cause. And it's just pathetic. It's like watching someone play pretend in the worst way possible.
Interestingly enough, Megyn Kelly was there and she was interviewed about Blake Lively, and she was like, this is a ridiculous honor. So Daily Mail interviewed her and she said this.
I'm definitely hoping for some sort of a selfie in the distance with both Blake Lively and Meghan Markle, since they provided me with so many hours of content.
We were all hoping for some sort of redemption arc, but honestly, this is just the same tired performance. Can't believe they even think this is convincing anymore. Insert. Celebrity acting like they're the voice of an entire movement, when in reality, it's all about them.
And I'll be honest, it does feel odd. It feels forced, where he's out there being presented as, oh yeah, we got to put you out there. We got to be the man of the people. Everyone loves Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool. But there's just something missing.
Oh my God, I can't believe Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds showed up at the Time 100 Gala last night in New York, pretending like nothing. Blake Lively brought her mother with her because she was using her story to tell a powerful story about abuse and women and blah blah.
They've taken their personal drama and turned it into a media circus. And the worst part? They think they're pulling it off. But behind the scenes, people are rolling their eyes and asking, how did this even get this far? Even insert celebrity's so-called supportive partner looks miserable. You can tell they are done with the charade. It's hard to believe that just a few years ago, everyone thought this couple was the ideal Hollywood pair. Now, it's all just a sad joke. The media circus keeps spinning, and there they are on every red carpet, wearing a smile.
And now they're just changing lanes here. So Blake Lively had this speech. Someone recorded it and put it online. She talked about how her mother was almost killed by a co-worker before she was born. And then her mother heard on the radio another woman talking about how she survived abuse.
That looks more like a grimace. It's hard to ignore how desperate they seem for validation. Honestly, what are they even doing here? The internet, as always, isn't buying it. Fans are starting to see through the act. The social media posts, the overly staged photos, it's all unraveling faster than anyone could have predicted. The actions speak volumes about their true intentions. It's all about the brand, the image, and the never-ending search for relevance. And the real kicker? They still have the audacity to claim that this is all for the greater good. But everyone sees through it. The audience reactions, freezing up, awkward claps, the whole 9 yards. It's almost painful to watch. And yet, the cycle continues. The more they try to salvage their reputation, the worse it gets. The latest stunt, yet another attempt to portray themselves as the victim. It's like watching someone drowning in their own lies, but they still insist.
Wanted me to share with you that she is a survivor of the worst crime someone can commit against a woman. It's not for us to have shame. It's for them.
The story didn't make any sense to me.
The woman painfully and graphically shared how she escaped. And because of hearing that woman speak to her experience instead of shutting down in fear and unfair shame, my mom is alive today.
Whatsoever, and I feel like Blake Lively is just desperate to look like a victim, and now she's using her mom to make her look more like a victim. All of us have stories. All of us have mothers with stories, and I feel this is just a PR.
They're fine. Honestly, the charade is over. Insert celebrity and their team can spin this however they want, but the cracks are showing. Everyone can see it now. The illusions are falling apart, and there's no stopping it. At this point, there's nothing they can do to repair the damage. It's all too late. The truth is out, and no amount of PR stunts is going to change that. We've all been waiting for the real story behind the facade, and it's not pretty. Man, she probably thinks that by showing a baby bump, people will forget the fact that she tried to hijack a historical movement for a magazine.
But there's just something missing. It feels awkward. You can also see he's nervous. He feels very nervous. Is he going to get asked a question? At some of these softball places like Time, they clearly aren't. And the question is like, why is he even there at the Time Summit? Was this part of the deal in order to get Blake Lively on the list? Did Leslie Sun say, and we'll give you Ryan for your creative summit live in person?
Become the punchline of every joke online. People used to admire them. Now, well, they've just become a symbol of everything. Fake and shallow in Hollywood. And then there's the big reveal. After all the mess, they suddenly drop a bombshell. Oh look, it's another attempt to turn the tide in their favor, as if we wouldn't notice. Classic move, really. Everyone knows exactly what's going on here. Of course, the timing couldn't be more convenient. Just when things start getting rough, another story pops up to distract us. You can almost hear the PR machine in overdrive, trying to spin things in their favor. But is anyone falling for it? It feels like we're being gaslighted by a multi-million-dollar corporation. The hypocrisy is so thick, it's suffocating. They say they're fighting for something greater, but they're
We
acting.
name it, we change it. Just as our fellow Time 100 honoree, the incredible Giselle Pellicot, put it to every woman who understood. It's not for us to have shame. It's for them.
Controversy right now with Blake being on the Time 100 list.
It's a ridiculous joke. She shouldn't be there. She has no influence over anyone.
Yeah, so the reporter asked if she was scared of meeting Blake Lively, and she's like, no, I think she's going to be the one avoiding me.
Scene cover? Newsflash, Blake. The internet has a memory now, and no baby bump is going to save you from yourself. The commentators didn't waste any time dragging her either. Everyone quickly pointed out that she's once again hiding behind the motherhood narrative to distract from her ongoing legal battles. We get it, Blake. Being a mom is beautiful. But if this is true...
She was there, and I don't know why Ryan Reynolds was doing this speech yesterday that I also talked about. He was interviewed on stage. He was asked questions that he didn't answer, and he was sitting like, when you look at his body language in that interview, he's sitting like this scared little child in that chair. I don't know if he did that on purpose to look more like a victim, or if he just felt really uncomfortable sitting there. But there was nothing uncomfortable about Blake Lively posing on the red carpet.
Well, let's be honest. We've all seen how you've spun a lot of stories in the past, and they haven't always been factually accurate. Using your personal life as a shield to cover up shady behavior? Not so much. Sympathy for you is officially extinct. There's not a single TikTok or YouTube comment that isn't collectively rolling their eyes at this point. Blake could give birthright on stage, and the audience would still be like, okay, but what about that fake lawsuit? As always, there was so much word salad in her speech. I didn't even understand how she was trying to tie in her mother's trauma with some random person she heard on the radio saving her.
The two of them posing on the red carpet has been everywhere today, and they look so happy and so relaxed.
This was a good idea. I kid you not. This is, again, one of the dumbest PR moves. Just a woman who is in denial, attempting to gaslight the entire world who is witnessing what's actually happening.
It's all a mess of emotional manipulation. Meanwhile, while Blake was trying to play out her Hallmark movie, moment on the red carpet, Ryan Reynolds was busy embarrassing himself at the Time 100 Creative Summit. He walked on stage looking like he had been forced at gunpoint, and it just got worse from there. The man nervously dodged even mentioning Blake. Watching him try to tiptoe around a question about negative media coverage was like watching someone walk through a minefield. The interviewer asked him about negative headlines, and instead of answering the question like a normal person, Ryan went into a rambling TED Talk about finding himself, as if that's a convincing response. Ryan Reynolds in 2025 openly admitted that he has no real...
This is something they reiterate a lot. We disagree, here's why, but worst case scenario, if we lose, we are allowed legally to go make an amendment, and we should at least be doing that. Here's Ryan Reynolds giving a pep talk to Blake before she's about to give her speech. Look at how cute they are. Oh, he's such a perfect man. Oh.
Personality. He's just been copying traits from cooler people his whole life. Congratulations, buddy! You're not Deadpool. You're a human Pinterest board. The audience tried their best to hide their discomfort, but the awkwardness was palpable. Forced chuckles, uncomfortable shifting in seats, and the deafening silence. When Ryan attempted to land a joke, it was painful to watch. Even the interviewer, who was supposed to throw him softballs, ended up outshining him on stage. Imagine being Ryan Reynolds, the funny guy, and getting outshined by a Time magazine host. That's a career low if I've ever seen one. Meanwhile, the internet did what it does best, roasting him alive in the comment section.
If her mother, if this is true, because Blake Lively has told a lot of story previously, as we've all found out, that hasn't always been like factually correct. And of course, as always, there was so much word salad in this speech. I didn't quite understand how her mother was saved by a person she heard on the radio. If it saved her that she could get away physically from this man who tried to harm her.
Even his Mint Mobile ads, which have been running for years, couldn't escape the hate. Comments were permanently disabled. That's right, disabled. Even the guy selling cheap cell plans couldn't survive the wave of criticism. Mint Mobile's new slogan seems to be, "Please stop yelling at Ryan Reynolds in the comments section." And then, the PR dumpster fire that everyone saw coming. Rumors started swirling that the only reason Time put Blake on the list was because Ryan had to show up live at their creative summit. Apparently, Time was willing to ignore Blake's shady past as long as they got Ryan on stage. Classic Hollywood deal-making. Except this one backfired so spectacularly that it's almost impressive. Now, rumors are spreading even more that the entire Time 100 speech wasn't just a mistake. It was part of a bigger PR stunt. People are starting to put the pieces together, and Blake's reputation is falling apart.
The last one I did, I mentioned that the greatest superpower I ever had in my life, I'm not talking about just my career or anything, was knowing who I am. And when you're young and in your 20s, you're trying, at least I was, you're trying on personalities like they're shirts.
Are saying about you. So how has that media attention impacted your brand, your businesses?
Well,
It's a good question. And she didn't ask the elephant in the room, but she kind of did, right? She's like, how does all the negative attention affect your businesses?
She tried to cozy up to Justin Baldoni, got rejected, and then, rather than moving on like an adult, tried to ruin his career with a fake lawsuit. And guess who wanted no part of this mess? Taylor Swift. Queen of carefully calculating every public move, Taylor made sure to pull away fast from Blake's sinking ship. She refused subpoenas tied to Blake's fake lawsuit. And honestly, who can blame her? Taylor's built her brand on being the victim, not on participating in Hollywood soap operas that even Lifetime would reject as too messy. Time magazine didn't escape the backlash either. People roasted them for putting Blake next to real civil rights heroes like Serena Williams and Simone Biles.
Didn't admit it.
Stealing from one, and you've pulled all these different references in and these feelings, and you know yourself. And what I think is, here's how I know. Someone asked me at one of those was leaving. It was the end of the thing. How did you know? And I said, what? How did you know that you knew who you were? You're literally just, I'll be this person, I'll be that person. And one day you've stolen from 1,000, so you're a genius, not a thief. And
just thank you for finally admitting you stole it from a lot of people. A lot of people do, but he did admit it.
You don't get to fake cry about injustice while wearing couture and posing next to women who actually fought racism. The internet remembers everything, and they're making sure the world knows. Blake can't claim victimhood when she's literally been out here using her so-called trauma as a PR tool. The backlash is real. By the time the dust settles, it's clear that Blake Lively's entire brand of fake activism, endless PR stunts, and victimhood cosplay has backfired in the most spectacular way possible. No more magazine covers, no more gala speeches, no more crocodile tears.
So lauding. It's just like, this guy should have a Nobel Prize for blah, 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 blah.
So, I don't mean to interrupt, but I got to add the commentary. It is also a tell there. He reads everything about him. He's admitting it. You just heard him admit it. So he's clearly watching and reading. We knew this. We assumed this, let's say. But he just confirmed. All a PR stunt. I'm like uncomfortable. I'm visibly uncomfortable watching them sort of force themselves through.
None of it's saving her now. Ryan Reynolds' desperate media tour didn't fix anything. It only made it worse. Every time he opened his mouth, he handed Blake another shovel to dig her career grave a little deeper. The public is finally seeing Blake for what she really is. Not a civil rights icon, not a survivor, not an advocate, just another actress trying to ride the coattails of real heroes for a few more Instagram likes. Meanwhile, real women are out here fighting real battles, not pretending to care in designer gowns for applause. They're not faking pain or using trauma as a marker.
That aren't true. They're not what I know to be my story. And it really clicked. And it clicked in every part of my life. And, as someone who skipped rehab in his 20s and decided to go to conflict resolution workshops in Santa Fe, which I both recommend and I do not recommend.
My life was influenced most by my mother, sitting here tonight, Willie Elaine McAlpin.
Oh, Blake's mother! Here they are. Look, I gotta be honest, they are trying so hard. All these photos are just so ridiculous. Look at the gown. This photo really took the cake for me. Ryan looks terrified. Like, Ryan genuinely stuck between these women. All a PR stunt.
Tool. And Blake, well, she's behind her mansion gates, practicing her genuine facial expressions in the mirror, plotting whatever desperate PR move comes next. But we all know how this fairy tale ends. After years of scamming Hollywood with her fake activism and plantation fantasy, her pumpkins finally turned back into the rotten squash it always was. Blake's downfall is just getting started.